We did release the RFP for the permanent housing feasibility analysis. The first round, we didn't receive any responses. We actually have just released and we'll be hopefully getting new responses. I believe it closes in the middle of October. And then I'm also working with Harlan Public Utilities District to release the request for proposal for their recreational master plan. So once the 2010 grant closes out on the business side, then we'll be able to run our 2012. So we have a little bit of time on that. I don't think it's been spent yet. So.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Just a brief overview.
I have faith in the program. I've always said that. You know, I was looking at the dates as on the report. I mean, everything that goes away in 14 months. You know, and there's $1.5 million almost, or 1.4 million still in the, not in the column. You know, that we're achieving it to move it over to that right hand. But you say, as you say, one of them wants a typo.
Yeah, that actually expires December 31st of 2015.
I guess what I'm just saying is, yeah, anything that you think of as a way that the county can help you better market it, if we need to spend money to, you know, because we need to, as you know, get all this stuff out working and stuff.
I agree.
This is a question back up on the 8396 grant, that last page. You said the expiration for those are 2015?
Yes.
Not 14 as
That's
listed on
correct.
here? Okay, just wanted to double check to make sure that.
We were just recently awarded that grant, so
Yeah,
that
so
is a typo on
Yeah,
there.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that I heard you correctly.
Any more questions again? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take up recognition committee, then we'll go back to the unagenda report. Recognition committee, what do we got here? Nobody? We got David. Randall. And we got Carol Dutton. We've got David. David, you've been 25 years. David, in appreciation for your 25 years of employment in the County of Lassen, we've been out to County Board of Supervisors. Would like to take this opportunity to present you with this certificate of recognition and thank you for your time, efforts, and commitment. Thank you, David. Yeah, that's where you get. Thank you, sir. Who wants to say something? Where's your boss?
Gotta get picked up.
There you go, you're back. Somebody got it.
I know that Dave is not comfortable speaking publicly or even being seen publicly, and I can relate. I just want to highlight the word at the end for Dave's commitment. He is someone that we have kind of always relied on. He opens the building every morning. He is here faithfully. He does whatever is asked, goes above and beyond. I can't ask for a more reliable, dependable employee than Dave. Thank you.
Okay,
I'd like to say a few
there you
words.
go. No.
Can't pass up an opportunity. You know, I've worked with Dave ever since I came to work at the Richmond Road building, and he is, it's, you know, exponentially what Eric said. He's totally reliable, totally dependable, do anything you ask him to do, and I have some prime examples. Dave is #1 on our alarm call-out list. You know our building has birds and bats and mice and all kinds of things in the attic, and occasionally they escape into the building and set off the alarm at all sorts of weird times. And sometimes the alarm goes a little freaky on us, the battery goes out, and it'll go off 3 or 4 times in a night, always on a Saturday or a Sunday, never on a weeknight. And thank God Dave comes down and answers that alarm, because boy, there's nothing more annoying to me than getting that call. The alarm's going off in the building. So I really appreciate that, Dave. And then kudos to you for a job you did some years back. In the 90s, we had someone actually living in the building before we had alarms. Was living in the utility closet behind the ladies' restroom, where he had drilled holes so he could watch women in the restroom. Was actually living there and using that utility closet as his own restroom. And when we discovered he was in the building, it was a mess, and Dave never hesitated. He suited up and he went in and cleaned all that up, and Dave, I will never, ever be able to pay you. Many more years, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Cheryl, Justin? Cheryl, you must have started. I think Lou and I started. We did graduate together, so we must have started early. In appreciation for your 40 years of employment at the County of Lassen, we, the Lassen County Board of Supervisors, would like to take this opportunity to present you with this certificate of recognition and thank you for your time, effort, and again, commitment. Thank you so much. I know somebody wants to speak.
I've been very fortunate with Carol for decades now. She was the first one to, well, she was the only one that advised me to apply for the job of assessor. I took her advice, and I've been doing what she's been telling me to do ever since. And it's been, I mean, she's.
So Carol's a real assessor.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, just kind of under the radar. She is highly, highly responsible for the success of our office over the years. In the past, she was awarded the Irene Doyle Award that acknowledged how businesses, professional people, and other county departments rely on her for advice and her expertise. She has a sincere concern to helping the public when they come to the counter. She's always there for the widows and everybody that needs a lot of help, and they come to our counter, and Carol takes care of them mainly. But beyond all the professional things, she pretty much has tied our office into being a family. You know, she keeps track of the birthdays and the graduations, and it's really helped us have this bonding that we've done together. So Carol, I just want to thank you very much.
Before you leave, when they harass you about your decades of service, don't let it bother you.
You're gonna have 10 more years, right?
And
No?
I would say with the passing recently of Emma Freeman, who had been our longest currently serving employee, I think that this kind of makes Carol, if she's not the longest current serving county employee, she's right at the top there. And it takes a lot of effort to deal with the variety of folks that you have to deal with over the years. And I just want to share for the board's benefit, the public too, is Carol comes by it very naturally. Her mother, June Nelson, was a longtime employee in the county clerk's office, and I think she has done a very good job of emulating her mother's compassion and empathy for those who come in and needing services there at the county offices. And I want to say thank you, and I appreciate it, and it's been a pleasure. We actually went to school together, and so
We graduated together. 66, right?
no, she graduated. She graduated. Thank you, Carol, and congratulations, and I hope that you keep going for a few more decades.
Thank you, Carol.
In addition to what Carol does for the assessor, when I first moved here 5 years ago, I joined the Employee Recognition Committee, and Carol has been heading that. And it is a thankless job sometimes that we try to put these parties together for the employees. But Carol is the one who's the last one there, mopping the floors at Jensen Hall at hours after the last employee has left. She's the first one there in the morning to set everything up. She makes sure all the food is set up. Carol gives so much of herself to the employees of this county, and they just don't know how much she does for those parties. So, and always so gracious. So, thank you, Carol.
Thank you very much, Carol. Okay, we're gonna real fast, take up board member report again.
I have nothing more.
I'll give a quick report on the airport. I attended last week with yourself and Supervisor Hammond. Mainly, I just wanted to bring up the fact that we, one of the items of business we did at the airport was approve the letter of the heavy diesel motor, send a letter to send to the state air board asking for, a variance or just expressing our opinion that what works for some counties is not necessarily what work for us here, and the hardship it would cause to have to change out the diesel engines on some of the local industry. And funny enough, I'd been emailed by a constituent asking, they had caught when some of the other counties have actually filed suit, I believe, against airports for that. So just want to let it be known that Lassen County is opposing that regulation, and we have are sending a letter to the state air board. So other than that, nothing else to report.
I have nothing to report. We'll move on to H1 has been pulled from the agenda, so we go to H2.
That's okay. That's all right.
Is on the agenda as report.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I have nothing to report.
I thought you said
I'll
you
bail
had
you out.
nothing. I thought I heard you say nothing, so I nodded your head. I apologize. Just raise your hand, you have a screen. Okay, are we good now?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, H1 has been pulled from the agenda. We'll go to H2, and I have a request from Mrs. Spencer.
Yeah, there's no report. Susan said it was gonna be an oral report. There's no written report that they submitted to you No.
H2.
No.
Correct.
on H2?
That's correct.
Okay, I would, if I'd had the report written, I would have been able to speak, but I'd like to hear what she has to say, and then I have comments on that.
Okay,
Okay,
with staff?
well, we just wanted to bring it to your attention that we don't have anything formal yet, but it looks like we might be losing one of our assessment appeal board members. And we also lost our alternative, so we just wanted to get that bug in your ear that we might need some appointments coming up. And like some of the other board appointments, it's not always the easiest ones. The assessment appeal board qualifications is twofold. One, it states things like it should have minimum qualifications as a CPA or a real estate broker or something like that. Or the assessment appeal manual says someone that you all would think competent in this position. We do have, right now, 15 to 20 assessment appeal hearings November 27th. Now, that doesn't mean they're all going to go. Ken's not here. But it is an important service. And so we just wanted to highlight that to you all, that if you've got people who are interested, we're going to need alternatives. And we possibly might need a primary.
Do you have to nominate within your district?
No.
It's countywide.
Countywide.
And I would just share, it's important the board try to find a pool of folks to do this, because we don't have an appeals assessment board, and which has only been a recently devised. When I say recent, being in the last 10 or 15 years, the Board of Supervisors would function as the appeal assessment board, and believe me, you don't want to sit there.
Our last assessment appeal, we had 2 cases and it went over 8 hours, our hearings in here. So it's a dedication that these people give to come listen to it, and it's very important to them and to Mr. Bunt, our assessor. So just wanted to highlight it, because we had meetings last week.
Who's on that board?
Right now, it's,
Carol Curry, Kim Neal, John Holman.
that's it.
Okay. How many are on it normally?
3,
Three members.
but we might be losing Mr. Almond.
Okay.
And we have no alternatives.
Yeah, we have a vacancy for the alternate, but we should probably try and get a couple of alternates. Sometimes they have conflicts.
Yeah. Which is what we're facing right now with our November hearings. One of the board members is conflicting out of all a certain segment of the cases.
So this is different, whereas each board member doesn't nominate, there's only 3.
No, it's-
Right.
They apply for, it's an open seat countywide, and the board has to make that, so it's not a district appointment.
So that's all, I just wanted, this came to our attention last week, information that we were losing people and that hearings are being scheduled, so, thank you.
Thank you,
But the
Randy.
assessment appeal board was only established, like I said, recently, because prior to that, for, previous 100 years, I would imagine, the board of supervisors functioned as the appeal assessment board. And we had, back in the 70s and early 80s, I can tell you, the appeals were, this is prior to even Prop 13 or right after Prop 13. I would say half the year was spent board in session listening to these tax attorneys, and I gotta tell you, it's worse than being on jury duty.
Okay, Mrs. Spencer, you had a question?
Yes, Kurt Bonham, his alternate position expired on September 1st of this year, and when did he say he doesn't want to continue, or did he need to be appointed when when an appointment expires like that? Did he need to be reappointed, or did he just say, when it expires, I'm not coming back?
I wouldn't know, that it was not communicated to my office. All I know is we had our meeting last week trying to man the November hearings. And it came to my attention that we had a shortage, and that's why we brought it to the board.
Do the 3 people that are there, do their terms expire? They're just there until they want to quit? And who are the 2 presently again that are there?
It's Carol Curry and Kim Neal.
I can't hear the last one.
Kim Neal.
Kim Neal? Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, that's a received report. No more questions?
Thank you.
We'll go on to your H3.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Melanie Brawley, Director of Lassen County Health and Social Services. You have before you a provider agreement and a whole stack of MOUs for us to work with Partnership Health Plan of California, or PHC. They are the administrators for our new Medi-Cal managed care program. And so because our departments also provide health services, we're required to enter into some MOUs with them to ensure that we don't double dip and that they don't provide services that we're supposed to provide, and there are several safety issues there. The agreement is actually an agreement with them to pay us for services that we provide for Medi-Cal beneficiaries that would or could be provided by them. At the moment, we don't have a contract or an agreement to provide any of those services for Medi-Cal beneficiaries that they will provide. But we anticipate, with all the changes in behavioral health care services, that we probably will be about early January, February, looking at providing some behavioral health services that, for which, rather than billing fee-for-service to Medi-Cal as we do now, we may be billing some of those services, not all, but some of them straight to Partnership Health Plan and getting reimbursement from them, because we'll be working with providers to provide services that the clinics, local clinics, cannot. As was mentioned earlier, the MOUs have all been vetted by County Council and approved. The agreement hasn't come back yet. It is Partnership Health Plan's agreement form. It's a revenue agreement for us. So it's the potential for us to earn some money. Of course, we're going to do whatever they want us to do. We didn't see anything onerous in that agreement that we didn't think we could put up with. And so we're asking for your authorization to proceed with that. I want to talk a little bit about how important this agreement is. Not only is it a revenue generating agreement for us, but if we are in this agreement with Partnership Health, it means that they will assist us in participating in intergovernmental transfers. And I will tell you right up front, I'm not the person who could go into the weeds on this one. I understand the basics of it. Intergovernmental transfers basically says that the county can use, for instance, our realignment funds in health and social services, and if we were really flush with general fund, you guys could put up some money too. But we can sort of purchase some Medi-Cal services retroactively on behalf of our clinics, raise their provider rates by purchasing from Department of Healthcare Services some additional funds to pay providers in our area. There's a complicated formula that says how much we could pay over and above. Typically in rural counties, that head space is not really large, plus we don't have that much sitting around in reserve, so we're only gonna pay what we can afford. But the money goes to Department of Healthcare Services. They use it to negotiate an agreement according to a complicated formula with the feds. We should get a match back from the feds of about 50%. And Department of Healthcare Services takes off a percentage for the work that they do. They send not only the money that we put up, but the federal match that the feds put up, minus their fee. They send all that to Partnership Health Plan. Partnership Health Plan will forward that, will take off their Medi-Cal managed care fees, and then they will return it to us along with that additional federal matching money. So we can't lose by that agreement. We're gonna get some extra. We have no way at this point of knowing what that extra might be. But just as an example, and of course Sonoma and Solano County are quite larger than we are. And so their headroom is actually larger than ours. But they both got checks for $3 million back. So even if we only got 100 grand, I'll take it. So pretty happy with that. There will be another agreement specific to IGT, but we need to be a provider for Partnership Health in order to participate in IGT within the intergovernmental transfer process. So, and I'd be happy to answer questions, as long as you don't have need too much detail on the intergovernmental transfer
I
stuff.
just had, Mr. Chairman, a couple of questions, and it goes back to the previous discussion on the approval of the agenda. The agreement is not in yet. We're waiting for them to send the agreement. These are just the
No.
memorandum.
The agreement is there. We're just waiting for county council to approve it. It's there, it's partnerships language. It's not one of our own contract language formats, so he's looking it
Well,
over.
because the reason why I asked that is because when you look at all these forms, except for the last one, the mental health plan form number H, they've all been signed by Jordan Funk, signing off as to form as to all the documentation. So the mental health one doesn't have his signature, but each of the rest of them do.
Yeah, the mental health one had a couple of minor changes and went back to Jordan for his signature.
Okay, but that's the only one missing the signature. The others have all been signed off as to form. So my question, is there another document besides, you have the agreement between the Partnership Health and Health Services, and then you have the memorandum of understanding between Lassen County Health and Social Services with Partnership Health. So what is,
Okay, so that very first one is the agreement, the provider agreement, and Jordan has not
this one?
signed off.
Okay, that was what I was asking
Yeah.
for. There's an agreement and memorandum, and you said that the agreement had been signed off.
No, it hasn't.
It's not.
Okay, that and the mental health one
Yes,
hasn't been signed.
I'm sorry,
so-
I forgot that one, went back.
Okay, because I see signature and everything else, so I was kind of confused as to what was and was not.
Apologize for the confusion. It's been
Yeah,
a little
it's
confusing.
easy to be confused. Yeah. I just want to make sure that I understand what it is we're voting on in terms of giving council, give her the form.
And we won't finish the process until we have council's approval. If he has a question, we'll come back and report that to you.
But everything I got this morning for signature is all approved and good to go, right?
Yes.
Any more questions?
Informational question, Melody. We're providing the services and we're being paid back by the state and the federal agencies?
For behavioral health and public health, we get our funding primarily from the state and the federal government, plus the realignment funding. Under managed care, for instance, vaccines, children's vaccines is a great one. The public health department, most people knew that if you wanted to get vaccines for your kids, just went into public health and got the vaccines. Under managed care, and I totally support this, the feeling is that children should see their doctor to get their vaccines because they might not come in to see the doctor any other time of the year, and there might be something there that the parents haven't noticed, but a doctor would. And so children's vaccines will be moving to managed care, which means Northeastern and Indian Health here in our county. So that's a piece of the business, if you will, that we're losing. And there are a few other things that will be kind of moving up there. But by the same token, there are some things that we do that kind of overlap with things they do. So it's really important that we have clear MOUs so we know who can bill for which service. We bill at this point fee for service directly to the state, or we time study or claim it that way. And they will be, the clinics will be claiming their Medi-Cal payments through Partnership Health. So it's a little
You
different
said there's
process.
federal money involved also?
Well, Medicaid has a federal share to it.
Okay.
And then this intergovernmental transfer process permits us, right now, the federal share we get is based on what the state has negotiated with them. But the feds allow us as a county, if we want to put up some of our own money to purchase healthcare services, we can draw down the matching funds for that, and that's what we propose to do. We're probably not looking at a check until late 2015, but we'll take it. Anything we can get, I don't want to do bake sales.
Any more
Congress
questions?
doesn't act.
Yeah, I may be doing bake sales.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this agreement?
I was going to say, I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve the agreement memorandum subject to council's office final review as to the board.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Thank you, Melody.
Thank you very much.
And I apologize for missing our 10:25 recess. I think we're about done if you probably will continue on.
That's fine.
Okay, Susan?
No.
Okay. Okay, then we go to H4, probation department. There you go.
Hello, Mr. Chairman, board members. Jennifer Manning with the Lassen County Probation Department, acting chief probation officer. Just wanted to bring to your attention and report to you on Senate Bill 105, which is the governor's plan as far as the other 9,500 prisoners that still need to be released in order to meet the court's cap of 137.5%. What the bill reports out is that if the court grants an extension to the deadline to reduce the population by December 31st, and they give an extension to that, this bill will allow funding to come into counties in order to provide services to reduce recidivism to these prisoners. And it would give that in a 3-year cap so that nobody would be released right away. If the court still goes forward with the December 31st deadline, then what the governor's bill does is allows for him to place these prisoners into in-state and out-of-state private facilities in order to stop them from being released out into the communities without any kind of funding. One of the things that impacts small counties the most, I do believe, when they put together the financing for some of these services and some of the way that, you know, the grants are going to be dispersed between counties, is they don't take into consideration some of the rural counties. Because when you have a rural county, if their population is based on something much smaller than a larger county, then if we have 5 people that, you know, fail probation, that's going to affect our rate and drop that rate up to probably about 10, maybe 15%. Whereas another county that has a larger population isn't going to see some of that. So one of the things that I would say is to just be cautious and kind of look for, you know, is there any ways to build any kind of rural county funding into some of these bills when they come out.
What is our failure rate?
Our current probation failure rate is 26%.
Statewide?
No, for Lassen
No,
County.
I know, but statewide failure rate?
The statewide average that they want to report it out to is 5.8%. But like I said, you know, and even in the,
One or two people makes a big difference.
Yeah, I
when,
understand.
based on our population, you know, if you have 3 people that fail, you know, probation and their probation is revoked and they're sent to either county jail or state prison, then our rate, because our population size is lower than what it is, say, in Sacramento and LA, well, that's gonna jump our percentage up a lot. And typically, you can sometimes see that every other year to where a probation failure rate will spike. Because you give somebody so many chances and you really try to work with them. And you give them the services that, you know, we have locally, but they're just not going to reform. They're just not going to comply with the court's orders. So that probation then in turn gets revoked after 18 months. Well, every other year you're seeing some of that increase and some of that spike.
How many people are in the system now?
On adult probation,
Just a
Total,
ballpark.
there's about 350 in adult probation.
That includes the UB 109 and all the programs.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I was intrigued in terms of reading Jennifer's memo, and in particular, the impacts